Kevin in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Kevin, what's up?
Hey, Tom. Look, I wanted to disagree with you. I don't think government is not big enough. I think government is far too large on the centralized level of our federal government.
What's your evidence of that, Kevin?
Well, my evidence of that is the TPP. I could go on all day. Anything from the Trans-Pacific Partnership all the way to our local post office, it's all favors whoever has the strongest lobby. And
yeah, Kevin, you're making my point. Our government is not strong enough to stand up to these transnational corporations.
No, Tom. But my point is that we need communitarianism to save this country. It's not government that's going to save us, not central government. Washington, D.C. is the land of Oz. They don't care about what happens to people. The state government is
these are nice bumper stickers, Kevin, but your evidence demonstrates that our government is not big enough or strong enough to stand up to private billionaire interests or to private for-profit corporations. And that says to me that we need a larger, stronger government.
Even Karl Marx said once you nationalize, the government would disappear because the government was...
What is nationalized in the United States, Kevin? That should be privatized.
What I'm saying is that the idea of growing government to provide protection is not the answer. We need...
Of course it's the answer. It's why George Washington had 3 horses shot out from underneath him. He was trying to fight back against an oppressive corporation, the British East India Company.
Tom, those corporations have always been married to government. And my point is that unless you have community policing and community-centered laws that can actually work for the people, you'll never be able to hold the federal government accountable.
I don't disagree with you, Kevin, that community-based politics and community-based activity, Thomas Jefferson's idea of the most important and powerful, government sector in the United States is the local ward. I agree with that. Here's the problem. You've got the American Legislative Exchange Council providing model legislation to states which say it is a crime in this state for a town to decide that it's going to offer community broadband. Pretty soon they're going to be saying it's a crime for a town to own its own electric utility. They are trying to privatize everything. That's
my point, Tom. If you had a free market, we'd be able to...
Kevin, there's no such thing as a free market. This is libertarian fantasy.
Because Time Warner Cable gets its monopoly, it gets its SEC license from the government. I own a small... could get by without having to abide by the same laws the corporations have and not having to compete against corporate welfare from those corporations, from the government to those corporations, then I would be able to have a much more successful business.
I agree with you, Kevin. Same here.
Impeding me.
Same here. If I could take my paycheck in the form of stock dividends, the way that the CEOs of big corporations do, I'd have more money in the bank. I mean, I agree with you. We are being screwed by big corporations, and government is establishing rules and regulations that allow us to be screwed by big corporations. But it's not because government's too big. It's because government's too small to stand up to those corporations. And the same thing is going to happen at the local level. You've got states now and federal governments under the control of, captive to, the interests of billionaires like the Koch brothers and big transnational corporations who are passing laws making it illegal for local communities to stand up. You really want to see a great example of this? Go to the CELDEF website, Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund, Tom Lindsay's organization. He helps local towns sue to have the right to basically determine their own fate and future, to say, no, we don't want a 10,000 hog farm in this town, or no, we don't want fracking in this town. And you've got these big corporations coming in and suing hugely these little towns, and in some cases, many cases, actually suing individually the mayor and the city council members, bankrupting them, wiping out these little towns because government isn't strong enough to stand up to them.
But if you kept power concentrated at the community level and let the communities provide their own laws, just like a state has a Department of Environmental Quality, just like a state has a Department of Education, if you put everything at the lowest possible level, those people would have more authority than what they do with the federal.
How do you do that, Kevin?
just like in Louisiana, where, you have BP come in after Katrina and the federal government limits the caps on settlements. It's simple. You just downsize the departments that are out of control in the federal government.
Wait a minute. You're suggesting Louisiana is one of the most corrupt states in the United States. You've got judges. Judges are elected down there. You've got judges who are bought and paid for by the oil industry, who are making decisions on behalf of the oil industry and against local people on a regular basis. You've got an entire state legislature, the House and the Senate, that are bought and paid for by the oil industry and the fossil fuel industry. You've got a governor, Bobby Jindal, who is bought and paid for by those industries and the private for-profit prison and school industries. This is your model?
Tom, it's no different than a federal level. All I'm saying is it's more accountable at a localized
Kevin,
level.
Theoretically, you're right. And this was Jefferson's vision for America. And Madison thought it should be more centralized at the federal government. And we have Madison's country rather than Jefferson's country. But I don't see how that's the solution to where we're at right now. The last time we had giant corporations reaching out to control America, to basically destroy our economy for their own benefit, was in 1929. And because in 1921, Warren Harding deregulated the corporations. He deregulated the banks, he deregulated Wall Street, and he cut the top income tax rate from 94% down to 25% on the billionaires and the multimillionaires. The result of that was the great crash in 1929. And in 1930, and Shane, get that clip of FDR saying, "I welcome their hatred." In 1932, rather, you had a man stand up and the best candidate. He was a wealthy guy from a he was an oligarch, Franklin Roosevelt. He was the corrupt governor of one of the most corrupt states in the Union, New York State. It was Wall Street on his watch. He was supposed to be responsible for looking over them, who brought down the country. I mean, he was a very imperfect messenger. But FDR got far more imperfect, frankly, in my mind, than Hillary Clinton. But FDR got the message. People were being screwed, and they were being screwed by a very specific group of people, the rich and powerful. And he stood up and fought back, and that fight back lasted for 40 years. Here's what FDR had to say about these people.
Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
So respectfully, I'm all in favor of devolving power. Devolving is the wrong word. Of amplifying power at the local level and diminishing power at the national level, at least with regard to many issues. But I don't see how to do it when the Supreme Court says that billionaires can own as many politicians as they want, the McCutcheon case, and they can spend as much money on them as they want, the Citizens United case. And it doesn't even have to be billionaires. It could be Saudi sheikhs. It can be Chinese oligarchs. It can be, Shelley Adelson taking money out of China, out of Macau. Chinese money supporting the Republican Party via Shelley Adelson. Or it could be, guys who made their fortune with Joe Stalin in the oil industry, Fred Koch, and, the fortune that he left to his sons, David and Charles. I mean, the Supreme Court has said it doesn't matter. Anybody can buy our democracy. And because they're buying it they started at the federal level. Now they're starting to buy it at the local level. You've got local politicians, You've got groups like Americans for Prosperity, and now they've got another spinoff. I forgot the name of it, but it's specifically, this is another one of the Koch brothers' enterprises, specifically designed to buy politicians at the town level, at the county level. This is the destruction of the United States of America as a democratic republic. The conversion of the United States from a democratic republic into an oligarchy, into a fascist, authoritarian capitalist oligarchy. It's happening right in front of us. It doesn't take any kind of magic glasses to see it.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit thomhartmann.com for audio and video archives.
You don't have to do like Joseph Smith and get your, magic glasses to read them golden plate. You just look around. Hey, it's happening.